Hello, everybody. Welcome to Stock Charts Deep Dive. I'm Chip Anderson, and I'm coming to you live from the brand new StockCharts TV studios. This is the very first show we're shooting here in our new studio. So we've got a lot of new equipment set up all over the place, and hopefully it's all working. But it's another big step forward for us in StockCharts TV today. And so hopefully this show will be a little better than the previous shows. StockCharts Deep Dive is all about getting into the guts of stock charts. It's about learning the stuff that's kind of below the surface of what normal people kind of see if you're just kind of using the site as a beginner. We want to get really down and dirty into all the different features of the site. And this is a show where each week I will pick a different topic, and then we will go deep into that specific topic, and I'll take your questions, and then we will wrap it all up and save it away. We're recording this show, so you always have the option of going to our YouTube channel after it's going to take about 30 minutes or so. We'll have it up, and then you can review anything that we talked about and on your own speed. We are taking questions during the show. Again, it's a live show. I have my friend Rachel here on the board with us.
Happy Saturday, everybody.
Yep. And so if you've got questions for me or questions about the topic that we're talking about, you can always type them in the little Slido chat window that's off to the side of the StockCharts TV window there. So if you're watching on your computer, you can chat with us, and we'll try and get your questions answered. So today's topic I've chosen is the advanced stock charts configuration steps. So in other words, you might have just seen the show that I did a minute ago, the All Aboard show. That's the basics of how to get your account configured and set up. We now want to talk about the details. If you want to go beyond the basics, and there's a whole bunch of other configuration stuff that you can do, different things you can set up and customize and make it so that StockCharts works really well for you. That's what this show is going to be about. So that's the topic for today, and let's get into it. We're going to take some questions in just a little bit too. I've set up the basic things. Now what? We hear that a lot in the customer support questions, and so I want to be able to answer that. The basic things would include stuff like your default chart style. Maybe you've set up a chart list or two. Maybe you've set up a scan or two. And maybe you've configured a couple of price alerts, but that's about it. We now have a wizard, by the way, that helps you do that at stockcharts.com/setup. And then, of course, I've done shows in the past about scanning. I've done shows in the past about how to configure your default chart style and so forth. So now we want to go beyond that stuff. So hopefully you're familiar with those topics, you're familiar with those particular terms, because I'm going to make that assumption going forward in this show. Because there is so much more that you can customize. And so, for instance, and here's the agenda for the show, we want to first talk about chart styles. Those, I think, are the biggest key to unlocking the power of StockCharts.com. We're going to get into what they are, how you set them up, how they work, all that kind of stuff. Next, we want to talk about how you can use chart styles to customize gallery view and candle glance. We're also going to talk about ChartStyles' kind of superstar brother, the style buttons, and how they can be really very useful for you in terms of getting buttons or getting your chart styles quickly with a single click. I want to talk about chart packs. I want to talk about how you can organize your chart lists. And finally, if there's time, I want to talk about technical alerts. There's almost never time, is there, Rachel?
No, certainly there is not.
We always run out, but that's okay. We might get to that next time. So let's get into it. Chart styles. Chart styles are everything about a sharp chart except the ticker symbol. So when you're creating a sharp chart on your screen, there are all those different settings in the Sharp Charts workbench. We'll look at it in just a second. And those settings include like the size of the chart, the color scheme, the indicators that you're using, the overlays, whether it's log scale or not, the range, the starting point and the ending point of the chart. All those different settings are, when you save a chart, of course, you will save them. But when you save a chart, you're saving those settings plus the ticker symbol. So you're saving a specific chart of Apple or of IBM or of whatever. When you're saving a chart style, you're saving everything except the ticker symbol. And what that means is that you can apply that chart style to any ticker symbol in the future. You can be on a ticker symbol of a completely different stock, and then you can apply this a saved chart style, and the ticker symbol won't change, but everything else will change. So what does that give you? Again, it's a template. It means that you can create a collection of templates, of styles, that each one represents a different analysis hat, if you will, an analysis technique that you're using. Very, very commonly, people will create chart styles for daily, weekly, monthly time frames, maybe even also an intraday time frame, say a time frame for when you're doing active trading. Some people can save chart styles for 1 minute and 2 minute and 5 minute and whatever different time frames they want. But at the very least, you should have a good chart style in place for daily, weekly, and then I would say whatever intraday chart period that you want to do. Look at. There's also chart styles that you probably want to create for market indicators. When you're looking at a market indicator, such as the number of advancers versus decliners, you typically want to look at that in a very different way than when you're looking at a stock. In a stock, you might be wanting to look at it in candlestick mode. You might be wanting to look at it in bar mode, that kind of thing. With market indicators, like the advanced decline line, so on and so forth, you're typically looking at those as a line, and for lots of them, you're typically looking at them in what we call cumulative mode. In cumulative mode, the values are added up. All the previous values are added up, and all the other values, you're not seeing each value individually charted because that ends up with a chart that goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Instead, you add them all up, and then you get a nice smooth line. That's what the advanced decline line, for instance, is. But the bottom line is, if you did not have a chart style for this, you would always have to be clicking and clicking and clicking to set up, to change it into line mode, and then change it into cumulative mode, and then change it out of log mode into regular arithmetic scaling, and so on and so forth. But if you have a chart style created, then it's a single click. It's a single click to get to that particular style and to be able to quickly see, for instance, what your market indicators look like. So again, the point is that you want to curate your chart styles. Chart styles are super valuable. So you want to take a second right after the show, or right now even, and think about what are the different hats that I wear? What are the different kinds of symbols I look at, and how do I want to look at them? How do I want to analyze them? Don't create a million chart styles. There's a limit to the number you can create anyway. Create a small number of really good ones and make them yours and make them very, very easy to use, so on and so forth. So let's look at that now. I want to actually give a quick demo of that, and then we'll take some questions. So switching over to my demo machine here, this is the members dashboard, your dashboard. Of course, you can get to the SharpCharts workbench in a whole variety of ways by clicking on any ticker symbol, or simply by typing a ticker symbol up in the chart bar and pressing enter. And so as we can see right here, I've got currently a default style, which is not super helpful. This default style is a line chart. It's got a single moving average. It is a daily chart. We might want to change this around a little bit. If we were going to be trading and we want to get into a variety of different capabilities, we might want to change this around. So we would take, for instance, line mode and change it into candlestick mode and hit update. See how that helps. That looks a little better. My EMA of 9, I'm not sure why I have that. I want to have a simple moving average of 50. That's the 50-day. Simple moving average is always interesting. I might also want to put in in my case, the simple moving average with a 20-day period. This should all be, hopefully, this should all be familiar in the sense of hopefully you've had a chance to work with the SharpCharts workbench a little bit and get things straightened out. Let's also add the MACD is always a good one. And now we're good to go. So we can do some nice momentum analysis with these kinds of indicators, this kind of display. I like the size, I like the color scheme. I'm always a fan of the Murphy color scheme. But I could change any of these other things as I wanted to. as I saw fit. Maybe I'll add volume as an overlay. There, that looks really good. So the first thing I want to do is I want to set that as my default. In general, you should, for your default setting, I recommend you pick a daily time period and that you use fill the chart as your range. Daily time period is a very common period. The idea here is that you're setting up your default chart style. That's going to be the style that you use for a brand new ticker symbol, a ticker you've never really seen before, something you haven't saved away anywhere. And so it's something that you want to get an initial read on the stock. What's the stock doing? Where is it going? For me, that's a daily chart. Maybe for you, it's a little shorter term. Maybe you want to go with an hourly chart or whatever. That's fine too. It depends on your style. But you want to pick something that you're going to look at, 9 times out of 10, this is how I want to start analyzing a stock. That's what you want your default chart style to be. However, you also want to, so to save it as a default, as you saw, I click here on Save as Default. However, you also want to save that as a chart style, and I think it's really important that you use this name. This name works really well, just daily, okay? And so what I'm doing here, if you didn't see, is I'm saving the chart style by hitting Add New. The Add New link right here, and I'm typing in daily, and I'm hitting Add. Don't worry about the button thing for now. And now I have my daily chart style saved away, and it is in my drop-down list here of all the different chart styles I have. I already have some in here, but daily is one that I just added, and now I have it. And what this means is that I can now go to another kind of chart. I can go to a completely different chart. Maybe I've made a weekly chart. Maybe I've changed a whole bunch of other things about the chart that I don't like, or that that are weekly oriented. And now I want to quickly get back to my daily settings. It's here under Chart Styles. I hit Daily, and we're there. Now, if you use the setup wizard that we recently introduced, you will automatically already have some of these settings, which is great. Don't worry about it. If you're going, where did they come from? They probably came from the setup wizard that you ran when you first created your account. But I'm kind of showing you what's going on behind the scenes of that wizard so that you can customize it, you can make it better, you can understand where all this came from. Okay, so we have now created a default chart style and we've created a daily chart style. Let's go ahead and quickly create a weekly chart style. And the idea here might be that we want to have something similar to what we have, but maybe slightly different so that we can tell that it's a weekly chart instead of a daily chart. It may be that the MACD is no longer interesting from a weekly perspective, but instead maybe we want to get a price relative thing going on. So we use the price indicator, and we use dollar ticker, and let's say we always want to see dollar ticker relative to the S&P 500. So what I've done here is I've created a relative plot. I'll show you how we do this. Another little tip and trick. Whoops. It's symbol, that's right. So it is dollar symbol colon dollar SPX. There we go. So dollar symbol is a kind of a meta expression that we have. You can put it inside the price indicator, and it means use the main symbol of the chart. So in this case, it'll be IBM. If I change this chart later and I have a chart of GE, then dollar symbol would represent GE. So dollar symbol is a little trick that we have that lets you connect the main ticker symbol of your chart to the price indicator if you choose to have the price indicator on your thing. And then I've decided I always want to see that relative to the S&P 500. So to create a relative chart, we use one symbol colon another symbol. It divides the two and gives us a relative strength ranking. And so by doing dollar symbol colon SPX, that's saying regardless of what symbol I'm looking at, I want to see a price relative of that versus the S&P 500. So I can hit update as I've just done. And now here's an interesting weekly chart that we have. I guess there's one other thing I want to do. I want to set the moving average here to 40 instead of 50. That 40 on a weekly chart is pretty close to the 200-day moving average. And so there we go. So that's roughly a 200-day moving average, and I also see the relative strength going on. So this is a nice weekly display that I have. And so what I can do now, and I'm not going to save it as my default chart style. I've already got that, but I'm going to hit Add New, and I'm going to do Weekly, and I'm going to hit Add. And now I've got that style available to me too. And what this means is I can quickly switch from daily, here's my daily view, back to weekly. And there's my weekly view. So that's really nice, very powerful. Hopefully you're beginning to see some of that power. As another way to think about it, I'm showing you chart styles that are based essentially on time period, but that's not the only way. You want to think about maybe also in terms of momentum investing versus maybe some other kind of investing where you're looking at different indicators. Maybe you're looking at volume. So you've got a series of volume styles. You've got a series of momentum styles. You've got a series of styles for short-term trading, so on and so forth. Again, I go back to the concept of the analysis hats that you wear. Think about those hats. Come up with a good chart style for each hat. You don't have to come up with a chart style for every single thing that you want to do. Again, you would end up with 1,000 chart styles, and that'd be too many. That would kind of kill the whole concept. You want to have a small number of really good starting places. It's okay if you occasionally change one of the indicators. You don't need to have 2 chart styles in that case. Just have the main indicator that you like to use, and then occasionally you can quickly change it to the other one. That's what I mean by curate your chart styles. Think hard about how you use them, why you use them, and give them really good names. So with that, I'm going to take just a quick break right now and go over to Rachel. Do we have any questions from the audience, Rachel?
We do. We have a couple.
So let's go over those, and then I'll keep going with my presentation.
Okay. So Titus asks, can you change the height of the price chart like you can with the indicator sub-menus?
Yes, so great question, and I can show that right now on my screen. So the question is, can I change the height? I assume that the question is about making the price indicator bigger and making the price plot area a little smaller as a result. And that's all done here with the height setting. So if you don't see the height setting, by the way, make sure you have the green triangle open. If you see this green triangle with advanced settings, just click on that to open up all these additional settings. One of them is height. And height is initially set to auto, and you can see all the different values that we have from 1.0 all the way down. This represents the 1.0 represents the height of the price plot area, and these are percentages of the height of that price plot area. So if we want our indicator, in this case the price indicator, to be the exact same height, to share the same amount of real estate that the price plot area has, we would set this to 1.0. So setting it to 1.0, hitting update, they now share. You can see the height of the price plot is the same as the height of the indicator. Okay, so that's like the extreme. You could also do something like 0.5 or and then hit update. And so that's a little bigger than it used to be. I think auto is more like around 0.4. It kind of varies, but it's somewhere in there. If you want to make it just a little bigger, 0.5 does it. You can also go to like 0.7. So, the bottom line is experiment with it and see what works well for you.
Okay, and the other question we have is, does the site have a line extension tool?
A line extension tool. So that has to do with our annotation capability. So let's look at that for just a minute. Step 1 would be to give us some room so we can extend our trend lines out into the future. So if you're in fill the chart mode, which is my favorite mode, and I recommend it for the range, then you want to first off add some space that we can have so we can extend out horizontally our trend lines. So I'm going to do that here. I've added, for instance, I just added 10, and so now we have 10 additional pieces or periods that we can use. We could extend it out 20, 30, whatever. Let's do 20. All right. And that's going to allow us to draw a trend line extension out into space. So I hit annotate. Make sure that I have my trend line tool selected. Maybe I'm picking my trend line tool here, and life is good. Now, the person who asked the question is probably going, okay, Chip, that's great, but what if I hit the top of the window. So in other words, just pretend for a second, what if my trend line was here and I really needed to go higher? Okay? Hopefully everyone understands what I'm saying. I know right now that the bars don't do that, but just assume that there were bars here and I needed to extend not only horizontally, but I also needed to extend vertically. So right now, ACP does this, but right now SharpCharts doesn't do this. Instead, however, I'm going to save this, and that's what it looks like. However, there is a trick to how you can kind of give yourself some more space. This isn't perfect, but it works in many cases. The trick is to add another indicator, and we recommend adding the price indicator. Doesn't really matter. It could be any indicator, but the price indicator works well. And then give it a ticker symbol that is kind of pointless. And in this case, I'm just going to use $ONE. There we go, which is just the value 1. It's a special ticker symbol we have that just plots the value 1. Now initially I gave that to myself and it's down below the price plot area, but I can put it above the price plot area by changing its position. See how I've done that? I've taken the position, moved it from below to above. So now I have some additional space up above for me to extend my trend line up into. And if I go back into annotation mode, let me just, for ease of use, let me get rid of the lower indicator. There we go. I'll hit annotate. And now I can take my arrow and I will be able to extend upwards as well as into the future. So hopefully that helps whoever asked the question. Let's keep going.
Okay, I know you're going to cover chart lists later, but we do have a question about them.
Yes.
Okay, so when I'm scrolling through a chart list and I want to view a particular symbol in a different view, how do I get back to the same position in the chart list?
So typically what you're talking about there is somebody would be looking at a chart list in 10 per page, I believe. So here's my chart list right now. It's a bit of a disaster. We're going to clean it up here in just a little bit. And when you're looking at charts in 10 per page, you will go next, especially if you have a long chart list, and you'll end up with a whole bunch of different ones. Let's see, I think maybe this one is a longer one. Yes, you might be on page number 2 or page number 3, and you want to get back to those particular ones. So my advice, though, is to not use 10 per page to scroll through charts in that particular scenario. A much better way to do it would be through summary view, where you get an entire list of your charts. Or maybe you have one tab of your browser showing you summary view and another tab of your browser showing you 10 per page. So you scroll through that way. But summary view is going to be the best view for getting to an individual chart that you really care about. So for instance, what I could do here now is I could open up another tab. I could do, let's see, a couple of different ways. Let's see if I can get creative here. 10 per page. And no, that's not going to work. Oh well. I would just enter up a new window, go to stock charts, and again, back to my dashboard and back to my particular chart list. Hopefully you've set these up ahead of time. And so now I can look at that particular chart list in 10 per page, while on my other tab, I've got that chart list. Oh, it's scan results. I've got that chart list in summary view. And then, of course, you can always click on one of these and open link in new tab. What I did there was right-click. And now I've got the chart in a tab and the chart list is still available there. So that's another approach, would be to right click. Does that work for 10 per page? I think it does, it should. Right click, yep, and do open link in new tab. I think it kind of depends on your browser. I'm using Chrome, of course, but maybe there's other ones. Anyway, so let me, hopefully that answers the question. And then we can continue. So let me continue on. Now that we've got some good stuff going here, I've created my chart. I've created new ChartStyles, the default, or the daily and the weekly. And so now what I want to do is type in a good symbol. I'm going to go back to my boring IBM symbol and show you how to customize gallery view. Those of you that have seen the onboard show know that I really like gallery view. Gallery view is the one where You type in a ticker symbol. Let's do Microsoft. And you get this view, this custom view, intraday view, daily view, weekly view, and point figure view of the same ticker symbol. And oh, by the way, in case you missed it, there is a little trick with gallery view. You can always do two. You can do one symbol, comma, another symbol, and then you get side-by-side views, in this case of Microsoft and Intel. Not many people know that. I know Dave Keller was really excited to find that out the other day. But the question we get is, can you customize these things? So again, first off, my warning, don't change these views unless you are familiar with exactly what it is you want to do. If you're new to stock charts and you're still learning technical analysis, these views have been designed to really help you. So study these views carefully before changing them. But if you're a stock charts member, you can change these views. And in fact, the link right here will tell you what I'm about to tell you in terms of how to do that. And the way you do that is with ChartStyles. So let's go back to our SharpCharts workbench. We'll leave gallery view for just a second. And let's select our daily view. Here it is. This is our daily view. But let's make to make it 100% sure that you know that we've changed things. Let's change the color scheme. This way we will know that we're talking about the new one. And so I'm going to take this style, and I'm going to add it as a new style to my account. And I'm going to make its name, this is the key, you have to make the name specific, Gallery Daily. Okay, Gallery Daily, and I hit add. Okay, and so now I have a style. The style is here as well, and I can use it just like any other style that I want. But that style has a particular additional capability, which is if I go back to Gallery View and I look at Microsoft again, so now my daily view has changed, and it is that particular style. And remember, I just changed the color. You could change anything. You could add more indicators. You could remove indicators. You can't change the period. Clearly, it has to be a daily chart to fit into the daily slot of Gallery View. But pretty much other than that, you can change things. And so this is the way that you customize Gallery View. You can do Gallery Intraday to customize this chart, Gallery Daily to customize this chart, and Gallery Weekly to customize this chart. Okay? So that's really, really powerful. I caution you to make sure that you're not making huge changes to it. And if you need more details, again, you can always click on Learn Now. And yes, this still works with the multi-chart display as well. Now, the same trick applies to Candle Glance. So Candle Glance is, I'm just always typing the same ticker symbols, aren't I? Let's get a couple other ones in here. Candle Glance is our mini charts, and this is what our mini charts look like normally. And it's a great way for you to compare a large collection of ticker symbols really, really quickly. And you can customize it. The link again is right here, but I'm going to show you. Right now how to do it. It's done via, as you can guess, ChartStyles. So we'll go back to the workbench, and we will make up a chart style that is a little different. Let's make it so that it has, I like Alexander Elder's impulse system. And this is a system where the bars get colored, red, green, and blue. Green's good, red's bad, blue's indifferent. And let's say I like this, and I want to make this, I want all my Candle Glance charts to look similar to this, only smaller. So it's the same kind of trick. I'm going to do Add New. I'm going to do Candle Glance is the name of the style that I need to create, Candle Glance. I don't know if capitalization matters, but it might. The G is capitalized. And then I can go back to my Candle Glance page. I'm just going to hit refresh. And boom, whoops, go away. There they all are with the new style, including the Elder impulse bars. Now notice the way this works is that because the style has been defined in my account, whenever I go to Candle Glance, the period drop down is going to change to custom styles. And when it does that, it's going to use that custom style. I can still go back, however, if I want to, and see the original candlestick styles. I just have to change the period back to 2 months or 6 months or whatever it is. So as long if you have the style, then you will have this additional entry in this period drop down, custom style, and that's how you get back to that. Okay. So again, you can use this. You can use these styles to customize both gallery view and candle glance. Make sure that they're helpful for you after you make these changes, and see what you think. Do we have any other questions, Rachel, at this point?
Not at this time.
Excellent. So hopefully you guys are getting it. All right, we are going to push forward. The next thing I want to talk about is style buttons. As you can see, I think styles are really, really useful, and as I'm showing you now applications of the styles, how you can have these styles help you customize your account, make things a lot easier for you. So let's say that we've created a large number of styles and we really like them. We want to switch between them a lot. Yes, you can always switch between styles using the chart style dropdown. That's always available to you, and included in that dropdown, by the way, are a bunch of predefined styles that various commentators have provided over the years, including Chip Anderson, this weird guy. And his styles are more about just showing you capabilities of what the site can do. So there's a crazy style, for instance. The bottom line, again, is that this ChartStyles dropdown always has all of your styles. And some accounts, you can create, I believe, 20 chart styles, and with a pro account, you can create a lot more. So chart styles, if you need lots of them, the pro account can help you with it. I, again, would caution you against getting a ton of chart styles. Just find a bunch that really work for you. Anyway, so switching between them using this drop down is great. However, you can switch between chart styles even more quickly by using these style buttons. Style buttons are over here on the left, these little gray boxes. And again, if you used the setup wizard that we recently introduced, you will automatically have some style buttons available for you. So there's the daily chart style that the setup wizard created for me. Here's my weekly one, so on, monthly one, so on and so forth. And I encourage you to play with those, experiment with them, see what you like, see what you don't like. Some of them are a little crazy. But you can also use your own styles. You can replace the styles that were installed by the wizard, or if you don't have any, you can add styles. There are two ways. What's important to understand is there are two ways to add style buttons to the workbench. The first is what I'll call the old school way. And then the old school way, it's either part of the add new. Notice when we hit add new for a chart style, we have this additional field called button number. So that's one way to add a style as a button. The other way would be to edit the properties of a style. So I can pick a style. Like right now I have my daily chart style up. I could go back to my daily style, the one that I created just a minute ago. And now I can hit edit properties for that style. And currently its button number is none, but let me change that, make the button number 1, because this is my go-to style, my go-to setting, so it should be my very top button. And now it is. So in other words, if I go, say, to some crazy monthly chart or whatever, some other setting, I can always click on button number 1 here at the very top and get back to what I'm used to, back to what I prefer. So that's how style buttons can be really useful. There is a limit to the number of style buttons you can have, obviously, and so you want to be even more selective with which style buttons you add to your system and which ones you don't. So you can have many more chart styles than buttons. Every style does not have to have a button. And you want to make sure that the buttons are kind of in priority order, that you're able to use them really, really effectively. So again, the old school way of selecting style buttons and moving them around and so on and so forth is to use either add new or more likely edit properties here. Now, there is another way to edit style buttons, just so you know. It has to do with the little arrow that you see above and the little plus that you see down below. If you hit the arrow, then we pop out this panel, and you have the ability to see all of your chart styles, and you can quickly go between them if you want just by clicking. You have the ability to drag and drop these styles. So I'm clicking and holding on the little hamburger menu that we have that allows you to handle, that allows you to pick stuff up and move them around. So that's very convenient. You also get to see a little preview of the style over on the left. It's not super helpful, but you can get a sense of maybe if there were different colors, which style was which. And any style that's above this button line will be a button. Any style that's below the button line won't be. So let's say, for instance, that I am not thrilled with what the wizard gave me, and I want to take all of the styles that the wizard created and move it below the button line, and I just want to focus on the styles that I've created. So right now I've got daily up here. Do you see how I did that? I just dragged stuff below. And now I can come down here and find my weekly. Remember we created this weekly style a minute ago? I'm going to drag my weekly style up above the button line, and then I'm going to close this down. And boom, I now have two buttons, daily and weekly. And so this allows me to quickly shift back and forth between the two things. So this little arrow up here is what, again, allows you to access this stuff. And you can do that. If you want to delete styles, you can also do that here. You hit edit, and then I can maybe delete some of the styles that I'm not interested in. So on and so forth. My default style is also always available. So again, this panel is super powerful. This is the old school way of doing it down here, and this is the old school way of getting at ChartStyles. So it's either use the panel or use this line right here below the chart. So let's see. Again, my tip is to only use your best chart styles as style buttons. The ones you're always using. And don't be changing your style buttons a lot. This is something, hopefully you'll set it up once and then everything will be good and you'll just use it from now until forever. And as I mentioned, I think it's useful to make your top button, the number one button, your default chart style. So that's the easiest way to get back to your default chart style at any time. Okay, so we're going to push forward. We've got more stuff to show you here. The next thing I want to talk about is chart packs. So we're switching gears here. I spent a lot of time on styles because they are super useful, but I want to spend a little bit of time now on how you get more charts into your account and more chart lists into your account so that you can get more value. And the mantra here is let somebody else do it. Why should we do all the hard work? Let's let somebody else do it. And the good news is somebody else has done it. Chart packs are what we're talking about. These are collections of charts and chart lists that you can install with a single click into your account, and then you have full access to all of these pre-configured charts. You don't have to set everything up yourself. Really, really nice. So chart packs are available as part of the Your Account page. And if you remember, the Your Account page is where you change your password, it's where you change your email, it's where you change your account settings. It's also where you cancel your account. Please don't do that. It's where you can do a whole bunch of things for your account that have to do with billing and whatever else. It's also where the chart packs are located. You can get to the Your Account page in a couple ways. My favorite way is to just go to the Your Dashboard link after you've logged in and click on the Your Account link that's here under your name on the left. Clicking on that brings you here to the Your Account page, and towards the bottom of that page is an entry here for chart packs. And I currently have no chart packs installed. Shame on me, I need some. And I can install them by clicking on Manage Chart Packs. So do that. Now, here's a list of free chart packs that are available. These are completely free. Begs the question, why not? Let's use them. They're free. As long as we have an extra subscription or higher, we can add these chart packs into our account with a single click. Sounds like a really good deal. And in fact, it is. It absolutely is, which is why I'm pointing it out to you. So we have several different chart packs that are available for free. There are also chart packs that are available for purchase. These are managed chart packs. I'll go over them in just a minute. They're down here. You would click here to see them. But before we go on to those, let's again explore some of these free ones. Arthur Hill, one of our great commentators, has created 3 chart packs that you see here. The Decision Point crew has added 4 chart packs having to do with all of their stuff. And then we have the StockCharts Essentials chart pack. Of all the chart packs that are here, this one is really, really good. Arthur's is also great, but let's take StockCharts Essentials Chart Pack and install that sucker. If it isn't already in your account, I strongly recommend that you do so. You can learn more about it here if you want to. So click more info and it will show you some examples, give you a description of exactly what you're going to get. These are the chart lists. We're going to get probably about 15 chart lists added. We're going to get some ChartStyles added, and these are instructions for doing so. And we have an option, if you see down here, to install the chart list framework. I'm going to talk about that a little later. For now, I'm going to uncheck this so that I can show it to you individually later. But install this chart pack. I'm going to hit OK. I'm going to hope that everything goes well, and it did. And so now, whereas before I just had a couple of chart lists, I'd only had these 3 initially. Now I've got a whole bunch of additional ones, and I can look at them. So essential market, major market indexes. So let's look at this one. Here it is in summary view. We can look at it in 10 per page view, and there we go. All the different market indexes that we want to pay attention to. Just pre-created for us. We don't have to type anything in. They're all there. Next up would be international exchanges, international ETFs, essential international indexes, so on and so forth. These were designed Arthur Hill also had input into these particular ones. Essential breadth indicators. So these are those breadth indicators, like I was mentioning, the market indicators that have already been configured into those cumulative charts that they needed to be. Here's the advanced decline line for the NYSE, the new high, new low, so on and so forth. All this stuff is available to you just with a couple of clicks. Very similar. Let's go back. We go to your dashboard, and now we go to your account, and we go to Manage Chart Packs. These, the Arthur Hill ones, as well as the Decision Point ones, are all really, really valuable. They're super wonderful. So my advice, strong advice, is to spend some time, install these, see what you like, what you don't like. If you don't like the chart pack or you think it's gunked things up too much, you can always just hit remove. Here we go. I'm going to hit remove. I'm going to hit OK. And now I'm back. Those chart packs are gone, and I'm back to just having my 3 chart lists that I had originally. So it's very easy to add these things. It's very easy to remove these things. It really does beg the question, why not? So now I'll take 10 seconds and show you the paid chart packs. They're a little more advanced than the ones we just looked at. The ones we looked at are great, but we also have chart packs for purchase if you want to. These are completely optional. You do not have to. Here they are. They're in our StockCharts store, and some of them are extremely affordable. Here, this is just $6 for John Murphy's latest one. There's other ones that are different prices. Some of them seem a little expensive, but either they're huge in terms of the number of charts they provide, in the case of Greg Morris's latest book, the Market Breadth Indicators book, or they are subscriber-based. So the Tensile Trading chart pack is extremely unique. It is subscriber-based, meaning that when you get it, if you choose to purchase it, you'll get a large number of charts that have been curated by Gaddis and Grayson, and then they will update that chart pack on a quarterly basis for a year. And so as part of this purchase, you will get 4 updates to this chart pack. So it's a subscription. It's more than just a one-time purchase. And so that potentially justifies its price. It depends. You clearly want to spend a little time reading Gaddis's blog and maybe purchasing his book. You can also click on the quick look icon here to learn more about that particular chart pack. Anyway, so I just wanted to make sure, my goal here is to make sure that you're aware of all the different options that you have for installing chart packs. All right, so as you install more chart packs, you'll immediately hit another kind of issue. This is also true as you create more chart lists in your account. And that issue is, how do I organize these things? There's a lot of them. It's kind of overwhelming. Do I just put them all into one big, huge list? Do I have multiple lists? If so, what's the advantages? What's the disadvantages of multiple lists versus single list? All that kind of stuff kind of comes to the forefront pretty quickly once you start adding a lot of charts or chart lists to your account. So again, your chart lists are always located down here at the bottom. And and we need a way to organize them. The bigger principle here is you absolutely want to spend time curating your chart list. Just like I said, you need to be selective in the chart styles that you use. You do need to be selective in the chart lists that you create. You want to make sure that they make sense and they're going to allow you to find charts once you've stored them away. So a chart list is kind of like the indexes, if you will, to your charts. They are, of course, the chart list is a folder where you can store your charts. And that folder is also a category, a way to categorize your charts. So it's very probable that you'll want to have a chart list for each category of chart or stock or index or whatever that you wish to collect, if you will. They're almost like folders on your computer's hard disk, if you want to think of it that way. But coming up with a scheme that works for you is super valuable and very important. It is a lot of work initially, but it will pay off in the long run. Now, we've heard back from a lot of people, hey, I don't have time to come up with a scheme. I'm not sure how to come up with a scheme. I don't really understand what I should be doing, so on and so forth. So we created this kind of empty collection of chart list folders that we call the chart list framework. The StockCharts chart list framework. Not many people know about this. We need to do a better job of publicizing it, frankly. But I want to show it to you guys and, again, offer it to you as an option for how you can organize all of the saved charts that you have in your account. So let's look at that. So, again, it's part of the chart pack organization stuff. So you can find it in a couple ways. I'm going to go to your account. I'm going to go to Manage Chart Packs. And down at the bottom, below these free chart packs, we have a link here about the chart list framework. Do you see that link? So I'm going to click on that. And here is the page where we talk about the chart list framework and you have the option of installing it. I have a link to this page in my notes. I'll also point out it's hard to see, but there's a link right here. It says, please read this article. This is an article that I wrote when the framework first came out. It describes the framework, and it tells you exactly how it can be used. It shows you examples of it, and then it gives you some ways that you can use it, and so on and so forth. So that article, again, is linked right here on this framework page. Hopefully you can see that. And again, if you want to try this out, it's easy to uninstall. You can install it, but it's also easy to uninstall. You can simply click Install Framework. It'll say, are you sure? And then 1, 2, 3, hopefully, we will go back to our dashboard. And, wait, hang on. Didn't work for me. Maybe I have to fix this. I'm going to do it this way. Install the essentials. So this framework is also available if you install the essentials as a little checkbox down here. So let me reinstall this and see if that works better. Yes, okay, so that worked better. So now if I go down to my chart lists after installing the framework, I have a whole lot of chart lists, all with numbers. That's in addition to the 3 chart lists that I originally had, which are down at the bottom. My original chart list will probably be, and your original chart list will probably be down at the bottom because they don't start with numbers. Everything else starts with numbers. Numbers are a way to organize the order of your chart lists, and so we think they're a really good approach for helping you keep your chart list organized. We don't recommend starting with your chart list with strange punctuation symbols and that kind of thing. A lot of people did that in the past. We recommend starting with numbers. We recommend using 4 numbers. And as you can see here in the framework, I have used the thousands, the breakpoint between the various thousands to represent different categories of folders. So I'm trying to create, what I'm trying to do here is use empty chart lists and their names to create categories of chart lists. So in the 1000s, we have the market analysis chart lists. And so that includes the major market indexes, the international exchanges, so on and so forth. And if you wanted to add your own chart list for major market indexes, the idea here is that you would add it maybe as 1020, my major market indexes. That would be the name. If you created a new chart list with that name, it would slot right into here. We've already given you some, but you can fill this out with more. We've left more than enough room in all the numbers for you to add your own things. Similarly, down here in the 2000s, we've got market indicators. In the 3000s, we have sector and industry chart lists. In the 4000s, we have, we don't have 4000s. In the 5000s, we're recommending that's where you stick your scan results. So we're recommending if you want to save a scan result that you just type in the number like 5001, 5002, 5003. If you have a watch list, it goes in 6000s. If you have open positions, they'll go a list that contain open positions. They would go in 7000s, so on and so forth. So this is a way for you to organize your chart lists. It also kind of suggests or hints at strongly the kind of chart lists that you might want to think about creating. Again, maybe one for your watch lists and one for your open positions and one for your closed positions after you close stuff, so on and so forth. So you can find more information about it on the link that I provided. And my advice is to install it, play with it. If you like it, great. If you don't like it, you can always uninstall it later. So with that, I'm going to open it up again for any questions. Rachel, has anybody written anything in, or are they still kind of digesting it all?
I think they're digesting it all. But I would like to say that if you want to do more of a deep dive into these topics, just go to stockcharts.com/support and then type in chart lists or chart packs or alerts or anything that you want to find out more. You can do it right there.
Yes. Just to reiterate, again, there's a lot of different ways that you can get help from stockcharts.com. There's the search icon that's at the very top of all of our pages. Of course, you've got the Chart School, the Wikipedia of technical analysis that provides you with just tons and tons and tons of articles on all these things. But I'll also mention, as Rachel just did, our support center. And so when you're talking about using the site and the what you click on to do this, that, and the other, that's what our support center is all for. And it's available anytime just by clicking on the help link that's right here. Takes us right to the support center. And there are many, many, many articles in the support center as well. A lot of what we were talking about today is in the category of chart styles and style buttons. Here we see this. Or it was in the category of chart lists and chart packs. And so we see those articles right here as well. I strongly encourage you to review those articles. They probably go into a little more detail than I did, but I just wanted to show you everything that was there.
Yeah, you can also search for anything on the website by clicking on that magnifying button that's right next to the help.
Yes.
And that also will give you articles that our hosts write. They're blog articles, sorry. So, yeah, it might be helpful for you. It's something that I just like to share.
So here I typed, again, we're talking about the magnifying glass that's right here. It's on every single one of our pages. And so I just typed in style buttons, and we can see we've got lots and lots of different articles about style buttons in our support area. So that's, don't forget about the magnifying glass. And then, of course, there's StockCharts TV and all of the various, I'm not going to click on this because I would see myself talking about myself. All the various recordings of our articles are in our YouTube channel that you can get to from the StockCharts TV tab. Okay. So unless there are other questions, and I'm going to open it up. We got about 3 more minutes. So if you've got a question on any topic whatsoever that you want to hear the president of StockCharts try and answer or weasel out of.
Yeah, he's doing an AMA right now for the
then,
next 3 minutes.
Ask me anything. We got about 3 more minutes to cover all of these topics. Also, I just throw this out here. If you have ideas for a deep dive that you'd like to see me do, I'm not out of ideas. I've still got probably 50, 60 ideas here, but I want to hear from you guys in terms of what you might want to see me do. Maybe I'll I'll bump something up in priority if somebody is interested. Then let me know. There's my email address on the screen, chipa@stockcharts.com. Not too hard to figure out. But I'd love to hear from you, hear how you're enjoying these shows and how we can make them better. So maybe I'll also say one other thing. I want to give you guys another kind of tip or show you a new thing that we've just added to StockCharts.com. If we go back to StockCharts and I type a ticker symbol, I'm going to type a ticker symbol here that I haven't typed before. Dollar BTCUSD. So we have just added cryptocurrencies to StockCharts.com. And you might say, well, that's not a big deal. Everyone's added cryptocurrencies, so on and so forth. And you're right. But in order to add cryptocurrencies, let me do this. I'm going to change it from a daily chart. I'm going to change it down to we'll go with a 15-minute chart just to kind of make sure you can see what I'm talking about here. This chart goes 24 hours a day. There's 24/7. These, in order for us to get cryptocurrencies into stock charts, we had to change things around so that the crypto charts would be 24/7. And so this chart is actually updating right now. I can turn on the auto refresh and it's going to continue to update because cryptocurrencies are trading even as we speak.
And aren't they based on London time?
It's based on UTC time, which is essentially London time.
We actually have a few questions too.
Oh, good.
Want to get through. So DH asks, can you go over the options for the indicators, the overlays at the end of each indicator?
The overlays at the end of each indicator. Okay, so let me see if I can do this with a crypto. I'll probably break things, but so in this case, we have an indicator. It's the MACD. And we have some things over here we have a special drop down over here at the far end called overlays. So this overlay indicator is really is different from the overlays that we normally talk about. We normally talk about overlays up here like moving averages and stuff. These are overlays of the price of the main ticker symbol. This is an overlay of the indicator. So it's an indicator overlay, might be a better way to say it. And so there's a lot of things here. Not everything that was in the main overlays is here, but most things are. And we can do something like, Bollinger Bands. We can add Bollinger Bands here. Bollinger Bands, in this case, would be added to the MACD itself. And I don't know if this is useful, but I will go ahead and hit update, and you can see we now have Bollinger Bands going above and below the black MACD line. I know it looks a little confusing, but that's what this is. This is an overlay of the MACD indicator, not an overlay of price, but an overlay of the MACD indicator. Similarly, we can do things like stochastics, simple moving averages is very common, so on and so forth. In fact, let me pull up a slightly less confusing indicator here. I'm going to pull up, we'll do the Chaikin money flow. Okay. And if we want to see a moving average of the Chaikin money flow, which would be common, we can do like exponential moving average with a period of 9. 9 is a fairly common kind of signal period. And then we're going to hit update. And there we go. We now have a signal line on our Chaikin money flow. That's what that overlay is all about.
Thank you, Chip.
Okay, are we out of time? Oh, we are out of time.
We are out of time.
These AMAs go so fast.
I know, but it's been actually really educational, I think. I hope everybody else got something out of this.
Right, well, that's the point of Deep Dive. Again, this will be recorded. It's up on it'll be up on the YouTube channel very shortly. We're going to be back in 2 weeks with a new Deep Dive. Next week we'll have a new All Aboard. But I hope to see you then. Take care.
Commentators, like your favorite videos, and don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.